think the first step in starting is being honest with yourself about why you are writing this piece of music. Are you writing your piece for this competition because you want to win the competition? Is that why you're writing it? Or are you writing a piece of music that you're going to love for the rest of your life, hopefully, and you've got an outlet for it, so it can be performed, and maybe it'll get performed again if it goes through, so that you actually have an audience, that there are people there that will hear your music. Is that why you're doing it? And I'm not saying either of those is better than the other. I'm just saying you have to be very honest with yourself about why you're writing. So that if your purpose is, I really want to win this competition, that's what I want to do, then try and write the piece that's going to win the competition. If you want to write a piece of music that you will listen to in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, and look back and think, I was a great kid back then, this really means something, this piece, then do that, which means being completely honest. Often those things can happen together. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. But it's the honesty thing that I think is the first step, honesty. And then the second step is, what do you want to happen in the being of the person, I don't know, brain, soul, spirit, whatever it is, that hears this piece of music? What effect do you want it to have on somebody else? Do you want them to be tapping their toe? Do you want them their heart to break? Do you want them to be sort of confused by all this complexity? Because these are all desirable outcomes. What is it you want to happen to people when they hear this piece of music? So if you want to move somebody, if that's actually what you truly want to do, then think about how that might happen. So, what I'm getting at is, I think very globally, and you gradually work towards the detail. I think if you sit down and you have an idea at the piano, in an hour I could sit at the piano and have like 8 different ideas that are good beginnings for pieces. But I don't want to write those pieces. I'm not motivated to write those pieces. I'm motivated to through music, do other things. I think a really important thing that I would say, and people have very different opinions about this, but my belief is that it comes from this question, should the composer like what they write? Should they like the music that they write? And to me that seems such a nonsensical question, because I don't think a composer should like what they write. I think they should love what they write. I think it should mean everything to them. It's like having kids. You go, well, I'm having kids, but I don't really like them. I don't want that one. I like that one. When you write a piece of music, if you're doing it a certain way, it's everything you are coming out in this piece of music. It's everything. It's everything you believe. It's everything you wish for people you care about. It's all of these things. And I don't know how you can not try and create something that you are crazy about. Because the other thing is, if you don't like it, why would anybody else like it? It's a basic question, but it's a good question. So I think you have to love it. And so in terms of inspiration, if you're sitting down working out ideas, whatever your instrument or however you do it, the ideas need to trigger you. They need to be very strong in their effect on you. Because if you're not inspired by the material, working it through and creating a piece and developing or whatever it is you do, it's just going to be boring. The work is going to be boring to do. My way of writing is that I spend a really long time, like almost 1/3 of the entire composition process, is getting to the first bar. It's getting to the first few notes of the piece. And that's because there's all of this time working towards an idea or material that I know is just so full of potential. There's so much in it that can be explored or realized, or it's just it's like a seed, that you've created the seed. You finally make the seed, and you know that you can plant it, and this incredible thing will grow. That requires time. You can't do that in 5 minutes at the piano. That's a really big part of the process. And a huge part of that is throwing stuff out. It's knowing how to get rid of the trash and finding the nuggets, the gold. And I think a lot of young composers don't put the time into that. What they do is they get an idea and they think, this is my idea. I got this idea, it's my idea, I'm going to write this piece. And then they start writing the piece, and for all sorts of reasons, time or whatever, they can't backtrack. They go, oh, this is my idea, I've got to write my piece now. And they keep sort of hammering away at this thing, trying to extend it out. And they write a piece, and then they sort of get to the end, and bits of it are good, but they themselves aren't connected to it. They don't feel a strong connection with their work. It's different when I go in and there's a student who's a songwriter who plays the guitar and sings. They always love what they do. You know, there's a really powerful connection. Admittedly, they're singing and they really feel emotional because they're performing as well themselves. But I think that feeling that they have when they write songs like that is what other composers should have when they're writing instrumental music. You know, they should have that really strong emotional bond with the music.